Some people collect stamps, some collect sneakers, and I collect Japanese guitars. I've always loved guitars that are a little bit different, and the Japanese guitars tick that box. They're unique, stylish, sometimes strange, but always interesting. There is something truly special about them, the attention to detail, the unique design, and the story behind each one. My collection started almost by accident, but over time it became a full-blown obsession. Each of these instruments carry its own weird charm, unique tone, and I couldn't imagine letting any of these go. So today let me show you my Japanese guitar collection. So let's start with this Teisco YG6. This is the first vintage guitar that I bought, and it was probably made in the late 60s. Teisco used to be beginner guitars, and they were sold in supermarkets for very little money. But actually, many of the greatest guitarists started their guitar journey with them. It took me a while to find out what exact model this is, but I found this old website listing all different Japanese guitars, and I found out that it is a Teisco YG6. This is definitely not the greatest or the highest quality guitar, but what makes it special is the super weird design. So this one has some funky pickups, a striped metal pickguard, and very vintage aesthetics. And it actually handles fast pedals surprisingly well. I don't play it very often, but it is too unique to let it go. It might be useful for some recordings in the future. Next is the Yamaha SG45. This is the guitar that my boyfriend always dreamt of owning, but they're incredibly rare, especially in Europe. So when this one popped up for sale in Poland, after years of hunting reverb, we just knew that we had to buy it. And while we would love to find one in the walnut finish, this natural one is equally stunning. Early Yamaha electrics like the SG series were built to prove that Japan could rival or even surpass American craftsmanship, and they often did. The SG45 design was definitely inspired by Gibson Les Paul, but for me, I see it as a bridge between a Les Paul and a Telecaster, because the shape definitely reminds of a Les Paul, and it also has two humbuckers and similar switching system. But when you look at the body, especially from the side, it is pretty similar to a Telecaster, and when you sit with it and play, it definitely feels like a Tele. Especially my Tele custom with a double binding that I will talk about later. The SG series gained global fame when Carlos Santana started using the SG2000 model. Yamaha also made several different vintage gems like the SG40 with the German cuff and the very quirky SG80T. They even made bass guitars in this style. The one that I have was made sometime in the 70s, I'm not sure exactly which year, but I was totally surprised how well preserved this is and how high quality it is. When buying it online, I kinda expected something similar to a Teisco, but it is a totally different thing. It is a truly well-made instrument, and I really love to play it. Next one is the oval Les Paul. This one technically belongs to my boyfriend, but I think it deserves a spot here. I actually traded my Gibson Les Paul Jr. for it, and I think it was a pretty good deal. If you don't know, Oval made Japanese Gibson copies, but they were licensed by Gibson, so they were often referred to as Japanese Gibsons. It was basically Gibson's answer to emerging quality replicas of their models, all being made in Japan by brands like Greco, Tokai and others. Many players feel that ovals offer vintage Gibson feel at a fraction of the price, but they're becoming more sought after and harder to find. I'm not usually a Les Paul type of person, but I believe this is one of the best Les Pauls that I've played. It's got a veneer top, but it looks stunning, the pickups sound great, and I think it can really compare to a very good Gibson Les Paul made in USA. This is the newest addition to my vintage guitar collection. I bought it some time ago, but I didn't make a video about it yet, but I'm planning to if you're interested. This was an unplanned purchase, but I couldn't resist the price and the look. So this is a 1977 Ibanez Musician MC100. One of the lower-end models of that era. The Musician series was Ibanez's answer to the high-end American instruments. They debuted around the time Ibanez was shifting from lawsuit-era designs to original models. The higher-end models have the neck-through design, but this one unfortunately doesn't. It has the bolt-on neck, but even the bolt-on versions were built with serious quality, featuring dense tone woods and high-quality hardware. When it comes to hardware, it unfortunately misses the part of the bridge, so if you have one laying around, let me know. For me, one disadvantage is that it is pretty heavy for my liking, but despite that, it has a great retro tone and unique vibe that I really love. And it is a pretty rare piece, only made for about 2 years, and it was made in the legendary Fujigen factory in Japan. We decided it was time to add a bass guitar to the collection, especially that we started to write some original music. So we bought this Greco bass. This is a Greco EB style bass, a take on the Gibson SG style bass, and it was made in the 70s. Greco, just like Ibanez or Tokai or many other brands, was part of the lawsuit era in Japan, making incredibly good copies of Fender and Gibson instruments. As a Gibson SG owner, I always loved the SG inspired bass design, so I'm very glad we bought it. And from what I've tried, this one feels better to play than the real Gibson SG style bass that I've tried. It is definitely worn, it has some dings, scratches, and unfortunately the pickups are pretty noisy, and it's got some wiring issues that we have to sort out. But overall, it's a great sounding, unique bass, and I'm glad to have it in my collection. Now let's move on to the newer Japanese guitars in my collection, and let's start with that Tele, which was my first Japanese Fender and a first Fender overall. This is a 2012 Fender Telecaster Custom 62 reissue, of course made in Japan. I bought it a couple of years ago, and back then I was generally in hunt for a nice Fender guitar, and I was thinking about getting a Tele, and there were a lot of them for sale, but I just couldn't find the one. And then this one popped up and I instantly fell in love because I loved the color and it was matching my Gibson SG, which I owned before. And also it was in a pretty good price and definitely in my budget, so I went for it. And the very funny story here is that a couple of years later I learned that one of my friends, Grzesiek, who plays in the band Waves, who's also a fan of custom Telecasters, wanted to buy exactly this one, but I was first. But he has the exact same model in sunburst and blue color. And this guitar kinda kicked off the obsession with the red guitars for me, even though I owned a red Gibson SG before, but this was my second red guitar. And from this point I was like, okay, let's just make this my thing. It is finished in candy apple red, which is a bit different. It's translucent, so it gives it a little more depth, and it's very nice how you can see the wood beneath. Overall, it is an incredibly solid and versatile guitar and holds a special place in my collection. I just love everything about it: the color, the translucent finish, the custom look with binding, of course, and the whole feel and tone. So next on the list is this Fender Jaguar, also made in Japan, of course. So this was my first offset and a total dream guitar. So getting this one was actually like a dream come true to me. It is also in candy apple red, my second guitar in this color, but it is not translucent, so it's more like classic. And it has a matching headstock, which I absolutely love in Fender guitars, especially in offsets. I've always wanted a Jaguar, so this one was really a dream come true, especially that it comes in perfect specs, in perfect color, with matching headstock, everything just perfect. It does have some wiring issues, unfortunately, which I need to sort out, but I totally lack time to do that. But aside of that, I totally love it, and I can't wait to play it more when I get this sorted. And last but not least, this is the newest addition to my Japanese guitar lineup, and I recently also made a video about this if you're interested. This is the Mustang Pawn Shop Special, a very unique and original take on a classic Mustang. And when it arrived after I bought it online, I just instantly clicked with this guitar. It is also very unique and versatile thanks to all the tonal options you can get from all these switches you can see, and I actually love the wide range pickups here. And because I clicked with it so much, I actually play it a lot recently. So that wraps up my current lineup of Japanese guitars. Every guitar in this collection has its own story, whether it's a rare find after years of searching or random impulse that turned out to be gold. Japanese guitars for me just have that special kind of soul, and I'm pretty sure that this isn't the end of the journey. I am always on the lookout for the next oddball or hidden gem to add to the collection. And here's a warning for you. Collecting Japanese guitars can turn out to be addictive. One minute you're casually scrolling Reverb, and the next one you're importing 1977 Ibanez, which weighs more than your amp, but it's quite fun. So that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Ring the bell to be notified when I post new videos, and like this video if you enjoyed it. And also let me know in the comments if you'd like me to make a video about whole history of all the Japanese guitars. And last but not least, follow me on Instagram for some more guitar content. See you in the next one. Bye!